Hi everyone, I'm Patricia, a Phoenix-based real estate agent and proud owner of my own agency. I built my success from the ground up. For years, I thought I had it all, a beautiful daughter, a seemingly perfect marriage, and a thriving business. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Living in North Scottsdale with my Mercedes in the driveway felt like a dream come true. 6 years ago, at the Phoenix Children's Hospital Charity Gala, I met Philip Thompson. He was dashing in his tuxedo, confidently working the room as a rising financial analyst. "You must be the real estate powerhouse everyone's talking about," he said, handing me a glass of champagne. "Guilty as charged," I replied, laughing, though I prefer to let my sales numbers do the talking. That night sparked a whirlwind romance. Within a year, we were married in a lavish ceremony. When our daughter, Marcia, was born 4 years ago, I thought my happiness was complete. "Patricia, you're glowing," my best friend and office manager, Maria Rodriguez, said at Marcia's first birthday. "You really have it all." "I know, Maria. Sometimes I have to pinch myself," I admitted. Even Robert Hayes, my mentor who taught me everything about real estate, had faith in me. "Kid, you've built something special here. Don't let anyone dim your light." I wish I'd taken his advice to heart. Subtle cracks began to show after Marcia turned 3. Philip started questioning everything. "Another late showing? Can't it wait until tomorrow?" he'd ask, frustration in his voice. "It's a $2 million listing, Philip. The clients are only in town today." "Well, maybe if you spent more time at home, Marcia wouldn't be so clingy at daycare," he shot back. The tension grew. My friend Sonia Chen from Marcia's press school noticed the change. "You seem stressed lately. Is everything okay?" "Just busy with work," I'd lie, ignoring the growing knot in my stomach. Things weren't helped by Philip's sister, Lisa, who was always quick to judge. "My brother deserves a wife who puts family first," she'd say loudly at gatherings. A real mother wouldn't miss her daughter's dance class for a house showing. Philip became more controlling. He'd question every client call and monitor my phone. "Who's Michael? Why is he texting you at 8 p.m.? "He's a client, Philip. We're closing tomorrow." "Sure he is. Real estate must be really exciting these days." Then the day came that changed everything. Philip walked in, tie loose and face pale. "I got laid off. Corporate restructuring," he muttered. I reached out to comfort him, but he pulled away. "Don't touch me. This is probably what you wanted anyway. Now you can be the big shop provider while I sit at home like a loser." Looking back, that was the moment my perfect life began to unravel. Philip spent his days on the couch, laptop open, claiming to be networking. But 3 months in, our savings were nearly gone. "You spent $500 at Morton's Steakhouse last night." "We agreed to cut back," I said, frustrated. "It was a networking dinner. Do you want me to find a job or not? And you're the one always spending money on suits and cars." "That's for work, Philip. I need to look professional." "Oh right, blame me for everything." "Maybe if you weren't so obsessed with your career, I wouldn't have lost my job in the first place." Then came the credit card statement, $115,000 in charges at the Talking Stick Casino. "What's wrong?" Maria asked when I stormed into the office. "You look like you've seen a ghost." He opened credit cards in my name, 3 of them. "And look at these charges. Every time he says he's networking, it's a casino." "That's identity theft, Patricia. You need to act." But things only got worse. One Tuesday, I got a call from Marcia, sobbing. "Mommy, everyone's laughing at my clothes. Daddy said you forgot to do laundry." I rushed to her school to find her in a stained, torn dress I'd thrown in the donation pile months ago. Philip had dug it out of the garage. "Mrs. Thompson," the principal began gently, "we understand personal issues happen, but Marcia's well-being." That afternoon, my phone buzzed nonstop. Philip had sent photos to family, school parents, and even my clients. Poor Marcia, his message read. "Her mother's too busy selling houses to do laundry." Sonia tried to reassure me over coffee. "Don't let him get to you. We all know you're a great mom." But Lisa's poison had spread. At school pickup, the whispers were unmistakable. "I heard she leaves Marcia with a nanny every weekend." Apparently, I hadn't cooked a meal in months and my brother was gambling again. Those were the whispers Lisa had been spreading at family gatherings. At one particularly tense dinner, I couldn't hold back anymore. "You want to spread rumors, Lisa? Why not spread the truth for once?" I snapped, my voice low but sharp. How dare you? She retorted, feigning indignation. Philip told me about your spending, your late nights. Who's really to blame here? The tension hung heavy, but the real blow came the next day when Maria walked into my office, her face grim. Remember those networking events Philip's always talking about? She asked. Well, I had my cousin follow him last night. And? I asked, my chest tightening. He's seeing his old secretary, the one from Johnson Financial. She handed me a folder. Inside were receipts for hotels, jewelry, and expensive dinners. All this while Philip claimed we couldn't afford to buy Marcia a new school uniform. That night, I waited for him to come home. As soon as he walked through the door, I confronted him. I want a divorce, I said firmly. What? His face twisted in disbelief. I found everything, Philip. The gambling, the affairs, the credit cards. He lunged forward, knocking over a lamp. You ungrateful. I gave you everything. No, I said, my voice steady. I gave you everything, and you destroyed it all. The next morning, I called my lawyer. Signing the divorce papers, I thought of our wedding day, how happy I'd been. But that man, the one I thought I'd married, was gone. Maybe he never existed at all. The monster wearing his face had made sure our daughter went to school in rags just to hurt me. This wasn't just about me anymore. This was war. The divorce proceedings turned uglier than I'd imagined. Philip and Lisa spread lies faster than I could counter them. Every custody exchange was a nightmare. Marcia would cling to me, sobbing, Mommy, Daddy says you don't want me anymore. He says you love houses more than me. I overheard Philip coaching her during one of his custody days. Don't answer your mother's calls. She's too busy anyway. One day, Somia called me frantically. Patricia, I just saw Marcia at school pickup. She was saying disturbing things about you, about locking her in her room when you work. Lisa was there, recording everything on her phone. Maria burst into my office the next morning, waving a stack of papers. Look at these emails I found. Philip's been contacting your clients, telling them you're having a mental breakdown. Remember the Henderson deal that fell through? He scared them off. But it didn't stop there. He's been forging paperwork, Maria continued, claiming he invested in the agency when you started it. Thankfully, Robert stepped in. Listen, kid, I've got a friend handling your case personally, but we found something disturbing. Philip's gambling debts. They're tied to some dangerous people. One night, during a heated argument, Philip slipped up. You think you're so smart? I've been planning this for months. By the time I'm done, you'll be working as my secretary in the agency I'll own. I'd started recording everything after the school incident. His threats, his lies, they were all documented. One evening, he was 2 hours late for a custody drop-off. Marcia wasn't at home. Panicking, I called the neighbor, who told me they'd found my 4-year-old wandering the street alone. Daddy went to the casino again, Marcia said tearfully to the CPS worker. He told me to watch TV until he came back. Things escalated further when Amanda, Philip's former secretary, reached out to me. You need to know the truth, she said. We weren't just having an affair. He used my computer at Johnson Financial to hide money from the IRS. Marcia's teacher, Mrs. Martinez, requested an urgent meeting. She's having episodes during his custody days, crying, refusing to participate. Yesterday, she said, Daddy's friends from the casino scare me. At the next custody exchange, Philip and Lisa showed up clearly drunk. You think you're winning? Philip slurred. I own you. I made you successful. Without me, you're nothing. I slipped my phone into my pocket, its recording app already running. Keep talking, Philip, I said quietly. Tell me more about how you made me successful. He ranted about forged documents, tax evasion, and his plans to steal my business. Every word was captured perfectly. The next morning, I called my lawyer. I want emergency custody. Now. That night, as I held Marcia while she slept, I realized this wasn't just about survival anymore. Philip hadn't just tried to destroy me, he put our daughter in danger. The gloves were off. I had everything I needed to end this, and I was going to use all of it. At the final custody hearing, my lawyer laid it all out. Recordings, financial documents, therapy reports. Everything. The judge's face grew darker with each revelation. Full custody is granted to Mrs. Martinez. Mr. Thompson, your visitation rights are suspended pending further investigation. That same week, Philip's past finally caught up with him. The IRS Criminal Division knocked on his apartment door. "Remember those documents you forged at Johnson Financial?" one agent asked, holding a thick folder. "Your secretary kept copies." As if that weren't enough, two large men in leather jackets intercepted Philip outside the courthouse. "Casino debt collectors," they growled. Philip tried to run but barely made it to his car before they caught him. "Please, I can explain," he begged, but their patience had long since run out. Then came Johnson Financial's internal audit, revealing years of embezzlement. Philip had been stealing long before he met me. Lisa showed up at my office, desperate and teary-eyed. "You have to help him. We're family." "Family?" I scoffed. "Like when you helped him send Marcia to school in rags." Lisa's troubles weren't far behind. Her own company uncovered a fraud scheme she'd been running. "Learned it from your brother?" I asked as she packed up her office in shame. Philip's girlfriend Amanda finally realized who he truly was when debt collectors came knocking at her door. "He used my credit cards too," she sobbed. "And I believed all his lies about you." The dominoes kept falling. Philip declared bankruptcy before being hit with federal charges. Lisa moved into a cramped studio apartment and took a job folding sweaters at the mall. Meanwhile, my agency thrived. A luxury development group signed exclusively with us, cementing our reputation as a premier real estate firm. "You're an inspiration," Maria said during our celebration dinner. Marcia blossomed in therapy, shedding her fears. "Mommy, I'm not scared anymore," she told me one day, her bright smile lighting up the room. I started a support group for divorced mothers, sharing my story and helping others recognize the warning signs I had missed. Then came Philip's last attempt. He approached me outside my office, looking disheveled in a prison jumpsuit during a work release day. "Jen, I've changed," he said, his voice hollow. "I'm getting help. We could try again." "Goodbye, Philip," I said, walking away without a second glance. 5 years later, Marcia and I stood at the top of the Eiffel Tower. My 9-year-old daughter, once traumatized, now confidently snapped photos with her camera. "Look, Mom, I can see our hotel." My phone buzzed with news of another successful closing by my now multi-state agency. The support group had evolved into a recognized nonprofit, helping hundreds of women rebuild their lives. Meanwhile, Philip cleaned prison toilets for 12 cents an hour, and Lisa still folded sweaters. I hadn't taken their calls in years. "Mom," Marcia said, hugging me as the sun set over the city of lights. "I'm so glad we're free." I held her close, my heart full. "Me too, baby, me too." We had not just survived, we had thrived. My success wasn't about revenge, it was justice, plain and simple. The best revenge was living well, and we were living beautifully. What would you do if your spouse deliberately harmed your child just to ruin your reputation? Would you show mercy if they begged for forgiveness? Or would you hold firm like Patricia did? Share your thoughts in the comments below.